Hello, YouTube viewers. I'm Max of JAMmoviereviews. Decided today to get off the topic of movies. I haven't seen a movie in a while because it's March Madness. I'm a huge college basketball fan. Last week, 2 weeks ago, I don't know, I went to the Big Ten tournament. I live in the Midwest. I live in Evanston, Illinois, where Northwestern plays. So yeah, I was rooting for Northwestern. They sadly lost to Purdue, and Ohio State won the championship. I was fine with that. So I decided to make my reactions to the first March Madness, first weekend. So the first two rounds. I would like to say my Final Four first. It's Kansas, Kentucky, Kansas State, and Baylor. Okay, I guess I'll start off with the Kansas's bracket. You know what? Northern Iowa is a great team. I've watched them over the season because my dad, for some reason, likes them. Their offense is just so great. I thought they played an excellent game versus Kansas. I think they can make the Final Four because they don't really have that hard of a schedule. Michigan State, who they're playing this week, is not that great of a team as last year. I don't know what happened. Well, they lost Suton, but yeah, I think they can definitely. I think they're gonna get to the Elite Eight at least, and probably play Ohio State. I had Ohio State losing to Georgia Tech after the second round, but I was wrong. That bracket's just disaster. I had Georgetown in the Elite Eight, and that, of course, they lost in the first round. Yeah. God. The first round I only missed one game, and that was Georgetown. Okay, whatever. The Kentucky bracket, I have Kentucky winning it all. I did not have Cornell in the Sweet 16. I had Wisconsin. And I had New Mexico in the Elite Eight, and they were a huge disappointment and lost to Washington, a Pac-10 school, the worst conference for basketball. I'm really pissed off about that. Okay, I'll move down to the Syracuse bracket. Now, I'm doing pretty good in this one. I had Xavier losing to Pittsburgh, which was wrong. I had Florida beating BYU, and that is it. I think Baylor. My prediction is Baylor is going to beat Syracuse. Now that was kind of stupid a little, but that would change everything in my league. So that's what I have on my bracket. So I hope that happens. Butler is a tremendous team, and I think Syracuse is a little overrated. I think Kansas State's the best in this bracket. They have played the hardest teams, and their outcomes have been the best. I think they're a really underrated team. I think they could have been a number one seed, and Syracuse shouldn't because they lost 2 games and whatever. Okay, the Duke bracket, I have Baylor winning it all in that bracket. Let's see. I had Texas A&M in the Elite Eight, but Purdue beat them. I was very surprised. That was a great shot at them. I had Richmond in the Sweet 16, but they lost to St. Mary's, who is probably the best, one of the best players in the tournament. Omar Sanhan. He is just the game I saw versus Villanova, which they won, which I was very happy for. I hate the Big East. I think they're the most overrated conference in college basketball. I was just very happy. St. Mary's won with Omar, who was just monster. He was just a beast. Yeah, but I think they'll put up a great game against Baylor. But at the end, I think Baylor will win, and I think Duke will win against Purdue because Purdue has lost their best player, Hummel, and they can't get far without him. They look really shaky in both of their games for Siena and Texas A&M. I'll just move on to my Elite Eight, my predictions. Since I have Kansas losing, it's Northern Iowa versus Michigan State. I'm going to predict Michigan State. It's not my bracket, but I think they're just such a great offense, and Michigan State they just lost 2 players, so I think they have no chance. I think it's going to be over a 10-point game. Tennessee versus Ohio State. I have Ohio State. I don't really think Tennessee is that great of a team. I'm surprised they got this far. I had them winning in the first round, but losing to Georgetown. But no, they did play tremendous basketball last game, but um, Ohio State just has the best player in the Big Ten, and I hate when people say that they have no depth because they have some great players. They have Buford, they have Lauderdale, they have Diebler. I think they have a great chance of winning and even going to the Final Four. Okay, so Kentucky versus Cornell. I'm sorry, Cornell, but I think your hopes of going far as a Cinderella team is over. I think Kentucky is too much of a dominant team. I don't think they can. I think the only reason they would lose is because their whole team is a bunch of freshmen, and Cornell is actually pretty experienced. So we'll see. Washington versus West Virginia. I hate to say it, but I think Washington could win this game. They've been on a roll, and West Virginia I never trust. Their offense is great, but they can just be poor shooters, and I don't know. I have a feeling that Washington will win and go to the Elite Eight. So Butler versus Syracuse. I'm of course going to say Butler because I have them in my Elite Eight on my bracket, but I think their offense is just very, very good, and it's very planned out, and Syracuse is more rugged, and I don't know. I'll be rooting for Butler, but I have doubt that they'll win, but I hope they will win. Kansas State versus Xavier. Xavier, I almost put winning. I'm really pissed off at myself that I didn't, but they're not as good as a team as Kansas State. Kansas State is just so dominant, and they're in probably the hardest conference in basketball, and that is the Big 12. But it will. No, it won't be a good game. I think it would be more than a 10-point game. Okay, Duke versus Purdue. That's going to be a blowout for Duke. They're going to kill Purdue. I've been watching Purdue all season long. They've been okay. My Wildcats beat them, of course. But Duke is a consistent team. Baylor versus St. Mary's. I hate to say it, but St. Mary's is going to lose to Baylor. Baylor is a great team. They're like Duke. They're consistent, and yeah, they should be going far. Okay, then I'm gonna make my other prediction. So Northern Iowa versus Ohio State. I'm gonna make this prediction that Northern Iowa is going to beat Ohio State. Yes, they have the best player in college basketball, but Northern Iowa has, I feel, a better coach, and they better plays, and yeah, I think if you look, they have, like I was just saying, Ohio State has a good depth, but I think Northern Iowa has better depth, and yeah, they have all the tools to be a Final Four team, and before the tournament I said Northern Iowa is the most underrated team in the tournament, and they should not be a 9 seed, but whatever. So I have Northern Iowa in the Final Four. And then Butler versus Kansas State. I love Butler. I've been watching them all season also, but I'm gonna go with Kansas State. I think they're more experienced. Well, no, they're not more. I don't know. Their coach is a lot more. He's a lot more experienced. So I'd be rooting for Butler, but I expect on seeing Kansas State. Duke versus Baylor. Of course, I have Baylor beating them, but I think it will be a really close game. I think it could go either way. Just how Duke decides to play against their offense, and Baylor's kind of rough offense versus Duke's kind of cleaner offense, if that makes any sense. Kentucky versus I have Washington. I think Kentucky's going to win. I think it's going to be a blowout. Washington's not a great team. I just think they have momentum right now, and they'll beat West Virginia. I need to hurry this up. Kentucky is going to beat Baylor and go to the championship game. Kansas State's going to sadly beat Northern Iowa. Kansas State's going to win the championship. I will be kind of happy. Stay tuned. Subscribe, please, and watch.